Okay, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Well, one of my guests this morning, Mr. Olayinka Ola Daniels, he's a lawyer and public affairs analyst. Thanks for coming on, as always. We're going to be joined very, very shortly by Dr. Luke Onyekekeya, member of the editorial board of the Guardian newspaper, as I said, in short time. But we'll continue in a manner of speaking from where we were yesterday. Now the police are soft pedaling. The Senate President needn't come anymore. It'll suffice for him to send a written explanation. The police, as you know, had wanted him to help with the inquiry, and there was something of an outcry in some quarters as to how that office was being treated. There was a discussion along the lines of, it doesn't matter what you feel about the person, the office. It has to do with our integrity. It has to do with our reputation. And so, according to some newspapers, some reports I've read, following an outcry, both here and internationally, but perhaps much more importantly in this instance, also closed-door meetings, reportedly with the vice president. Now the police are saying, okay, it'll suffice for him to send a written response. This is, first of all, give me your impression from where we were yesterday. The police continued to explain, look, they were doing their job and that there was a need for the Senate President to, come and speak with them. They continued with that for a while, and after some time, events seem to have overtaken that position. But give me your impressions as to where we are now. The transition, so to speak. Welcome?
Well,
do you see it as welcome?
Well, unfortunately, it should not have even happened in the first place. We all know no one is above the law. And we also know the police is supposed to do its job. Having said that, when you're doing your job, there's one thing that is very important we must note, and is the fact that whatever you are doing as the police officer, whatever you are doing as the Mr. President or Mr. Senate President, you sworn an oath to the Constitution of this nation. So your loyalty should be to the Constitution and not to an individual. When I said it's sad that it got to this point, yes, we are talking about Dr. Saraki. It is not Dr. Saraki we are talking about here. We are talking about the office of the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Turning the whole nation into laughingstock in the eye of the international body.
Well, okay. That is one way of perhaps seeing it, but you said earlier that nobody is above the law, and
True.
That's the very strict road that the police seem to be walking, even though it was not without criticism. But the laughingstock part of it, there's a contradiction between nobody's above the law,
yes,
and then police moving in that way. People have to move delicately. Perhaps the police wasn't as delicate as it could have been. But there are those that might even possibly, and just for the sake of conversation, be saying that, that's very, very, that's tight. Nigeria is quite tight. It doesn't look at any big man. If you have infringed the law, they want to take it up. That's one way of looking at it.
You know why it's funny, sir? A meeting was held by Mr. Vice President and the DSS, DG of DSS, and the IG and the rest of them. And that was, in fact, a few minutes after the meeting, the police came to soft pedal to then say, Mr. Senate President, you don't have to come. Just write, just answer our query or the allegation under 48 hours, just answer it on paper and send to us. Do they need to get such directive from the presidency to do their job? When you know that is the Senate President, what stops you initially from doing that? That office Ask him. We are not saying they can't investigate. They can. Part of investigation is asking him, okay, come, put down whatever in paper. We need information as to this allegation against you. Having said that also, don't let us take it away. We're in a primitive society where anything goes.
Yes, I take exception.
Yes.
We are not in a primitive society.
You think so, sir?
Nigeria, we're not.
No, I will tell you.
We have our ways.
I will tell you.
We have our ways now and again.
No.
But you yourself, not being an enemy, can't call us primitive.
Uncle Yori, I will tell you why it is primitive.
Okay.
You see,
the action might have been primitive.
We are talking. No. You see,
but we're not a primitive society.
It is. It is. I will emphasize on that. It is.
Okay.
If not, there are some things happen and you sit down and you look at it and you can't even comprehend it. Why these things happen?
I'm with you there.
You can't comprehend it. So what do you call that? If Mr. One in the first place, you saw you were conducting, okay, you arrested some people. There was an allegation that somebody is sponsor. Now, what investigation how far was your investigation? Now, the next thing, you're coming for the head of Mr. What's it called? Mr. Senate President, probably because right now in secular, on social media, they're bringing photos of some thugs, as in one of the arrested armed robbers, one of the suspects in one of the whatever event that Senate President was, and they were wearing probably the same attire and all that. Okay, yes, it's very possible. Most of these politicians, they have all these thugs around them. Most of these politicians, they have people they use in doing all sorts. If I have them around me and I don't know what they do, as in for a living. So now, somebody is caught to be an armed robber, then you say because it was in my party, or because he was wearing one of the uniform, whatever, the Ashebi we had, so automatically, I'm a sponsor. Automatically, I have something to do with him.
Okay. You know what? Yinka, I don't think anybody really believes Dr. Abubakar Olushola Saraki will... No, is he Olushola? He's not.
Yes.
Is he
yes,
the one?
Yes.
Because sometimes I mix him up with it.
Okay, with the father.
Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Abubakar Saraki, Senate President. Nobody can imagine that he would be involved in armed robbery. So the general speculation is that all of this is political. Never mind trying to explain scenes and chapters of the whole thing. We were told on the program yesterday that in the eyes of some, this was just about making sure that between him and Dogara, it would be very, very difficult for them to come back in 2019. So that's the premise. They say, forget everything else. You have to work to that particular answer, is the way some people saw it.
Right.
And so they said, to that extent, it was less than was expected of us. I don't know what was said behind the closed-door meeting they had with the vice president, but many people will think that common sense would have prevailed. We're not, in faithfulness to the principle of nobody is above the law, the police have reason.
Yes.
They have reason to want for him to help them with their investigation.
Very well.
And nobody should be above that.
Yes.
So now the police are taking a different, what is the word now, modus operandi. Now they're taking an alternative route of, look, it's about communication. Mr. Senate President, just put it in writing for us. We can't say because you're Senate President, we can take you off the list of... So I think that's what we have now. So the question is, why didn't the police think about this before? Why didn't they do this before?
Don't forget, Uncle
Yori, with all the intellectuals we have in the police.
Also, don't forget
with all the strategies that must be in the police.
Uncle Yori, don't forget that also that we should not take away the vendetta between the police and the Senate President.
There's that component of it as well.
Yes. We've had the issue of Senate asking the IG to come.
In fact, you're right. That was the speculation of Dr. Saraki himself in his own statement, that this must be the IGP's way of getting back at the leadership of the National Assembly for daring to, invite him to come and appear before them. So we don't have, quite frankly, I don't think many people believe this is a genuine investigation. It's a whole political match going on.
And my point is, we should not allow politics to so degenerate, our system into, you see, you can't, for instance, in UK, the Prime Minister is seen with an armed robber, and I'm telling you, the next day he has resigned. He's gone. You know, but you see, you don't.
But these are different.
Different society entirely.
Different society.
But you don't come and, like you said, sir, what stopped the IG from taking that measure in the first place? Right first.
That's the worrisome part, because the point was also made yesterday about the police not needing anybody's permission to do their job.
To do their job.
And some people seem to insinuate that, in fact, Mr. George, one of our very regular viewers, had said that he had read something that seemed to give the impression that they had the nod of the presidency to go. But the thing there is that they don't need anybody's nod to do their job, and that the police chose to go this way, and then, worse, they now have to backpedal and say, okay, we'll do it differently. If only we could turn back the clock, to 2-3 days ago, and then just have this situation where they formally request a written statement. There wouldn't have been this whole hullabaloo. So it brings many people. Senate President Saraki, arguably, is not the most loved individual in certain quarters.
Very well.
But that's irrelevant to the fact that he is the Senate President of the Federal Republic. That office there, I think we need to be very, very careful how we mess with that office. Excuse my casual use of
Personally, I have my reservation for Senator Dr. Saraki, my reservation in some
that's
area,
the one side.
like we said. Well, here, whatever it is, we must uphold our institution. We must not make our institution laughingstock in the world at large. Whatever we are doing.
The intention of the police.
Unfortunately, that is what they have created. Unfortunately, that is what it has. It has ended like that.
Well, they've quickly withdrawn.
They've quickly withdrawn. But we are laughing. Some of us are laughing because already this should not have happened.
Now look at what all of this has brought about. Now we are hearing that the whole new PDP bloc of the ruling party is now miffed and is saying that, you know what, and I think that's really where the conversation is now. You know what, I don't think we're going to cooperate anymore. I mean, these people have shown, the presidency has shown that they're not interested in genuine dialogue, to which other people are now complaining that, wait a minute, who's in charge here? Whose party is it? It's a party that belongs to the people, and a group of people can't come along and then put a stranglehold on anybody within the party and say, this is how we shall go. The NPDP, I would imagine, in the eyes of the APC, has done enough damage as it is. They're now insisting that they have their grievances, and there's this whole matter about, okay, let's hear those grievances. But now they are saying that we're not even sure we want to talk anymore. We're not even sure we want to talk. So that's the next level where we are at now.
Uncle Yori, what is NPDP? When APC came together, when all the political parties came together and they formed APC, I made a statement when that happened that these PDP folks coming into this party, beware. Don't let them come. But, APC at that time, they just wanted power and they wanted whatever that could help them.
APC didn't have a choice at the time.
Yeah.
To be fair.
The
APC at the time, because they were single-minded on the objective, they didn't have a choice. They couldn't. Some people had said, why did you accept some people's application to join? People like me were told that you don't know enough about the matter. It's not as simple as that. Okay. So they knew they were going to be strange bedfellows.
Yeah.
I don't know if they knew this level of Janupa was going to, when these people are now strange bedfellows sleeping on the same bed, this level of just, I don't know what the English is for Janupaing.
Uncle Yori, as we speak, Senate President is from NPDP,
right?
So-called. As we speak, the Speaker of the House is a member of the NPDP.
The Deputy
Senate President
yes.
is a full-fledged
member
of PDP in APC government.
There you go.
Now, tell me, what result do you think we can get? You see, all this ula balu, all these issues happen here and there, and seriously, except we're not going to be sincere with ourselves. What is the ideology of the people that came in? What is the ideology of the other parties that came together? Do they have the same ideology? Now, that was the reason why when the party said we do it this way, Mr. Senate President said, no, he was going to do it that way. Mr. Speaker said he was going to do it. So we can see from the beginning.
If we'd not found this particular sort of a truce, if that is the right word, one is reading that the Senate reportedly was preparing itself to go en masse with the Senate President through the police and shut down the National Assembly for as long as it took. That, I don't know if that is true or not, but it's there among the writing, among the aspects of the story. We have, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a mess exactly. We have something of a conundrum on our hands. And this is what politicians, this is what they exist for anyway. They're going to have to sort this out, but it remains to be seen how it is going to be sorted out and how we move forward from here. Yes. Because the objective, we're moving into 2019. True. The APC needs a united front. None of this is boding well for that unity of purpose. And yet they have to fix everything to be in good time and in good standing to face this objective. Otherwise, there might be problems, and that is the last thing the ruling party wants.
If I'm going to...
Okay. Let me take Amzat from Berlin Kebbi, because this is one of those kind of programs where all the facts are known. It'll be interesting to know what the comments are as well. Good morning, Amzat.
Morning, Uncle Leori.
Thank you for calling, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I've been trying to get you all these days, but I couldn't.
We're so happy you
did. But thank God I did today.
Sure.
Yeah, please, Uncle Leori, I want to make a point here. I don't know why the social media, every other media is just talking about this issue. That is a victimization is this. The first thing a Nigerian should think is there any offense? Can there be investigation on anybody? The answer is yes. Any other person in Nigeria is subject to investigation. Provided there is a proof, he can be investigated. So I don't like the idea of saying it is a political issue. It is this, it is that. Why? Why we Nigerians always tend to bring issues of politics into any other issue? If it is politics, fine, let it be politics, but let us do the checking, let us do the investigation. Has Saraki had a hand in this claim? If he doesn't, he'll complain.
Okay, but you don't think it's embarrassing to all of us as a people that the head of our National Assembly, forget the personality now, you're going to put a person in that chair of the Senate President, is being invited in a case of bank robbery? Mr. Hamzat?
Hello, yeah.
Yes, you don't think it's one kind. It's a bit embarrassing that the number 3 person in the country, in terms of hierarchy, is being invited to present himself to come and explain his part in a bank robbery.
Why is it embarrassing, Mr. Yori? Why?
Okay. So I take that as a no, that you don't find it embarrassing. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't.
All right.
If you look at other politics world over, you will find out these kind of people are being arrested, some even resign voluntarily.
Okay.
So why will Nigeria be a different scenario? It happens in many developed countries. People who are involved in criminal activities, some resign voluntarily. What is Saraki doing there?
Okay. All right.
If I was Saraki, believe me, honestly, I would resign. Or I would step down and allow the course of justice to take its course.
Okay.
That is, I think, the best way.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hamzat.
To politicize any other thing.
Okay.
I don't think with this development, I don't think anybody will say it's political because there are evidences beyond reasonable doubt.
Okay.
Some people who can go to the website to browse some information like I did. There are some information I saw. I'm not confirming they are true.
Okay.
But I believe gradually they will come up. If they are not true, at least like will come up.
Before you go, Mr. Amsat, so what do you think now of where we are at now? The situation has developed to, okay, you don't need to come, just write a statement. What do you think of that? Yes, go ahead, please. What do you think of that? Of the fact that the police have now amended their position from you must present yourself to, okay, you don't need to do that, just put it in writing and send it to us. What do you think of that?
Yeah, you see, in everything, you can make mistake and you can realize their mistakes, and eventually you can make amends.
Okay. So you believe the police have made amends?
Yeah, certainly they did, because initially it was an invitation, and subsequently they changed it to a written. No, you can make there is always room for amendment. There is always room for making corrections.
Okay.
I think either maybe perhaps the presidency advised. I'm not saying it is so, but definitely everybody, any other person will think so.
Okay.
And I think it's not a bad thing for when the presidency saw they are going wrong, they ask them to do the correction.
Okay.
I think it's okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amsat. So
Thank
we're
you
on the
so
same
much,
page.
Uncle Larry.
Thank you,
so
sir.
much.
We're on the same page, because we said here, didn't we, that Yinka, we said, we make no mistake about it, anybody can be investigated.
Anybody.
So we don't have anything about that at all.
No issue about that at all.
But method is important.
Important.
In all things. Method is important.
We all know Saraki is still going to the CZB, the tribunal, the code of conduct tribunal. He's still going there. So no one is making noise, even though I'm sure they had reduced and nobody is talking about politics and whatnot. What we are saying, okay, there are allegations on this. Go and clear it. Not Nigeria, number 3, or what is his position? And a robbery.
Because it's
there's a better way they should have done this, and not just.
Amzat was saying in there that when you look at other places, you find that similar instances, and I will agree with him. If it's a case of embezzling or money laundering or those kind of things, but a bank robbery is what caught many people unawares. Bank robbery. Yeah, hello. Yakub, good morning.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good morning to the barrister in the studio.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Excuse me. It is unfortunately in this country that every issue that comes up, there's always political tone to it.
Yes.
Why am I saying this? Chiefly, God forbid, assuming those people mention somebody like me, which I know they will never do that because I'm not one of them. I'm just using that as an example. Chiefly, I can tell you, police will never invite me. They will make sure they come to my place, they rough handle me, they put me handcuffed, they embarrass me in my locality. Maybe at the end of the day, they got to know I know nothing about it. And then you cannot still charge them to court. Even if you charge them to court, the court will prolong the issue to the extent that you forget about the case. That is number 1. Number 2, let me not say this. For the fact that they invite the Senate president, they give him the accolade because he's head of one of his institutions in this country. One thing is this. When they invite Senate president, that come, the question we should ask ourselves is this. I listened to that audio. In fact, when this program started now, I simply go there and listen to it again. The question is this. Does these people mention his name? Yes. Does these people rob in offer? Yes. And then these people now mention that we have political talk to Saraki. And then the question put to them, does it mean that because you have political talk to Saraki, that means that he was the one sending to offer to go and rob? The guy said no. Are you getting this, Chiefly? Now, maybe the police, they still get some kind of evidence against him that we don't know yet.
Yes.
One thing is that they infected him, go there, clear yourself. And then now, they now say the issue now that you should put it into written. Maybe the advice comes from the presidency, whatever. Because now, Chiefly, I can tell you, the police, they need to do their investigation very, very well. Because this kind kind of investigation we are talking about, the person in question is the people that are ending one of the serious institutions in this country. Now, look at the political tone into it. The NDP, PDP, new PDP, they now come up, say that we are pulled out of this, we are pulled out of that. What is that need to do with the allegation of this kind of issues? If you want to go in a statement whereby you want to reconcile with your party, and then they allege one of you that these people mention you, you don't need to pull out. Considering your negotiation, let Saraki go there clear. In fact, he can even put more respect to Saraki that, yes, you invited me, and then he wanted to go before. He has said the police, I'm coming. And then now they told him to put it in duty. He also said that he's going to put it in duty. Let him do so.
Okay.
And then when they clear him, Nigeria will know where they are going to. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Yakub, for calling in. We talked about this yesterday, and I had said yesterday that, look, if the police even went this way at all, it's because we have to accept it's not a jocular organization. They have information. They have certain things at their disposal.
No one is disputing
Otherwise, there's no way they pick up the instrument, so to speak, and say,
True.
we're invoking this instrument. We want. So there must be some stuff that
No
they
one is
have,
disputing that.
and they didn't share it with us, but they wouldn't have taken that action lightly. But the whole thing has now gone almost belly up, and the same people are sort of withdrawing. Let's take a break. I've been told by my producers to take a break, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, please. We'll continue this conversation and this political saga, if that is what it is, or is it really no more than a criminal investigation? Just that the personalities are high-flying personalities. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. So welcome back, and we're looking at this situation, the transition between yesterday and today as regards the criminal investigation of the police into the bank robberies that happened back in April in Ilorin, Kwara State, I believe. And the Senate President initially was invited to present himself to, help the police with their investigations. But between yesterday and today, closed-door meetings, maybe some outcry. I don't know quite for sure what the reasoning is. But today, the police have amended their position, and it is now that a written explanation will suffice in the meantime. Well, we've been joined by Dr. Luke Onyekekeya, member of the editorial board of the Guardian newspaper. Thank you very much for coming on, Luke.
Thank you.
The police, did the police shoot itself in the foot?
What has been happening in the last 24 hours between the police and the Saraki, the Senate President, for me is embarrassing. It's embarrassing to Nigerians and the global community, I would say. Now, for the police to invite the Senate President and then within
24 hours or less.
Within hours, they changed. Shows that in the first place there was no thinking.
It was not well thought out at all.
There was no thinking in the whole thing. And that shows the way we are being governed in this country, in all ramifications. That is the truth. Now...
Wait, sorry, sir. The way we're being governed. It's the police we're talking about now.
No, okay.
Where does government come in? Police.
Well, okay, that shows the way maybe the police has been doing certain things.
Okay.
Now... telling somebody to come, if the Senate President goes there, he will be interrogated and he will make statements. He will talk. But asking him to now write, for me, is a more serious something. You see, there's this adage in Latin which says, verba volant, scripta maneat. Words fly, but writing remains. Now, Saraki could go there and say things, and maybe tomorrow he will say he's misquoted and the rest of them, and he will deny it. But now asking him to put something in black and white, for me, is a more serious, calling. So they have not soft-pedaled, as some people are saying. They have not. For me, it is a more serious thing.
Because there are also people who say that if you want a thing forgotten, don't write it down.
Yes, asking him to write it down means is institutionalizing and making it a more durable issue.
But we want to get to the bottom of it. Is the charge spurious or is it real? I guess that's the other question.
Yeah, we don't know for now. We don't know. All these are allegations.
Well, people thinking that they're out to get Saraki. What do you think of that notion?
Then another thing, let us not forget the power play between the IG and the Saraki.
Yes, Saraki himself highlighted it.
3 weeks ago, the same Saraki was inviting this IG to the Senate. And the IG, he bluntly refused.
He didn't want to come. Now the IG, the police is inviting Saraki, and he himself doesn't want to go. And I guess it's a draw now.
So please,
1-1.
Please, what is happening is a power play. I don't personally see anything, these guys fighting or trying to, do anything that is to build and, burnish the image of this country. It's not. I think is a personal issue. I mean, they have made it personal. They have made it personal, and each of them wants to show that I have power.
Because with this aspect of the conversation, what do you think about those who are insinuating that the presidency is involved in this? We've said that the police doesn't need the presidency. We've heard in the past where even if the presidency was to comment on an issue, it would be along the lines of go and do your work. So it's a problem that people even felt a need to go and check whether I can do my work. But responses that have been received in the past apparently are along the lines of go and do your work. So, but what do you think of this whole notion that this cannot be without the presidency being behind it?
Now, anybody who is trying to involve the presidency is politicizing the whole thing. It's politics. That is politics playing out in the whole show.
Okay. And what the police
because the police
was strictly professional.
The police is an institution. If it has allegations against anybody, as an institution, like my colleague here said, yes. Police has intelligent people, well-trained people. They are trained. They are not ordinary people. So they ought to know what to do. Exactly. So from that angle, I don't see the need for a president to be involved. So anybody connecting the presidency is politicizing the thing, and it will not help the country.
Sorry, I think
anybody involved in the presidency, the National Assembly or the Senate President and his spokespeople have involved the presidency by saying that they feel it is at the instance of the presidency. Now, whether they have anything to support that is another matter. But as Luke says,
hold on, we may not have a fact here, but there are allegations that the IG went to Mr. President to seek for permission to carry out his speculation. That is one.
Speculation.
Two, but the one that is not speculation was the meeting between Mr. Vice President, the DG of DSS, Mr. IG, and before the meeting, Mr. Saraki was invited by the police, was summoned by the police to come. But after a few minutes after the meeting, the police came out, and as in Mr. Saraki came out on his Twitter to say, oh, he's been told to make it handwritten and not come for any interrogation or questioning. Just few minutes after that meeting. So we can deduce and look at what is happening, or see, I see all these things as distractions. They are distracting us as a people. They are distracting us as a nation. And now
it's President Trump that caused all of this. It's President Trump, and so suddenly instruments of governance and now Twitter is part of the whole scenario.
Yes.
So we don't even speak through formal channels anymore. Senate President Saraki, I don't know if gloating is the word, going to Twitter and releasing everything. And so it's almost like a tit for tat, and as Luke said, it is beginning to look like a power.
It's sad that they are making it look this way, and it's sad that we are in this mess altogether as a people, as a nation. These people know what they are doing. They are playing game. They are more like playing drafts over us.
But now, it's a waste of valuable time.
Let me add something there.
Yes, sir.
You know, If anybody thinks that the presidency or the president asked the IG to invite Saraki, what of the other way around? Was it the same president that was asking Saraki to invite the IG? Or was it the same presidency that told the IG not to go? Not to. These are connected issues. So there's no way the president will be encouraging the IG to invite Saraki. While a few weeks ago, the same Saraki was inviting the IG. Was it the president that is involved in all this?
I think I will have one or two to say to that.
Okay, go ahead.
If you look at, in fact, I think from the instance, the example you gave us now.
Let me come back to you because
Yes.
Reverend Dominic has come on the line, and let me not burn his credit. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Chief Yori. How are you?
Reverend, it's just Yori now. Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for calling in, Reverend.
Yori, I take exception to all the discussions.
Okay.
Yori,
Go
we're
ahead.
talking about the life of 30 Nigerian human beings. We're talking about the life of people whom Olusola Saraki or what Saraki is representing. And is their head, is their protector, is their defense. When will Nigeria be angry?
No, it's not Olusola, it's Bukola.
People died.
Is
Is
Bukola Saraki?
And we're talking about who you invite, you do invite. The pictures is all over there. This man did not say, Senate President send them. He said we are his boys. So Bukola Saraki, this young man did not say that Bukola Saraki sent them, but they say we are his boys. The investigation has shown that most of the vehicles have been found in government facilities. Please, could someone tell me what made David Cameron to left office? It was, he lost bridge exit. He did not support it, and he lost it. Morality shows you that when you don't support things, you go. Is there anywhere in the world we will see a government official sitting with a criminal, rightly or wrongly, and this bloodshed of 30 people, and the bank robbery, and the government official is sitting in power, and we're discussing it? When will Nigeria be angry enough? This is primitive to cry out loud. Nobody is wrong and right here. But if Saraki has some character, if you have some conscience, it's enough. This one is in tribunal. This one is facing criminal charges. Now it's armed robbery. Now it's his voice. It's primitive. And let me say this. Myself, Yakubu, and there's all of us, we are crying about the construction of National Assembly. Now the chicken has come home to roost. Since Saraki has become the Senate President, governments have not gone back and forth. Today, as I'm talking to you, what they call the budget was just passed the other day. Mr. President has not passed it. On the 6th month of a year of a nation that is an economic quagmire, the same Senate President. How long do we go? And what I'm protesting, I don't know who is also around. Let Saraki let that office. If the heaven will fall, let it fall.
Okay, Reverend. Thank you very much for calling in. Ever since the Senate President arrived in his office, the way he arrived, taking it by force, taking it against the will of his party, and then thumbing his nose at the same party, say no something, no surrender. I am the Senate President, whether you like it or not. We knew it was going to be a very bumpy ride.
We have never had peace.
We have never had
under
peace.
this.
It was going to be a bumpy ride.
Since 2015.
Yes.
It has been focused on Saraki on one issue or the other. So we don't know which ones are true or false. And the same Saraki is still there presiding.
Before you join us, I made a statement. I said, what do you expect from a party that is comprises of the new PDP? Yeah. Now, this new PDP are the ones in charge of the aims of affairs when it comes to the National Assembly.
Yes.
Do you understand, sir? Even the deputy Senate President is a full-fledged of PDP. And you expect everything to go well. What is the ideology of this new PDP and the full-fledged PDP and the ideology of the so-called APC?
Yeah, but what people are now saying is that, do you now... Look, since the man forced himself and we use the word forced advisedly, because there's a way you can force in a way where it all seems legitimate, and that's the very uncomfortable situation he's in. What do you now hound him out of office in this kind of a way is the question some people are asking. And other people are saying, stop saying hounding. Is he not an ordinary citizen of the Federal Republic at the end of the day that is not above the law? You can see how the thing is getting very, very complicated. Ola in Abuja, good morning, sir. Ola, was that you?
Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Uncle Yori, and I say good morning to the guests in the studio.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, you see, before the 2015 election, I could remember saying in one of the social media platforms that Nigeria will be dead both spiritually and physically if APC wins the presidency or if they win the election. Now, I'm not standing as an alarmist here. I'm not trying to kind of exaggerate the way Nigeria has turned into today. But we can see that, blindly written all over the way APC has gone about, messing up Nigeria, the country. Now, what am I bringing across this morning? We are talking about the office of number 3 citizen of this country being ridiculed just because some people want to settle scores, just because they want to score political points. Do we need to go to this extent? I mean, in a civilized nation, in a civilized democracy, do we need to do this to ourselves? Now, somebody was saying, there's no big deal about this, that anybody can be invited. It is true that anybody can be invited. If you commit a crime, you go for it. But there's this level of decorum we're supposed to exhibit in the way we go about doing things in Nigeria or in Africa. When the whites treat us like, common people, we complain. But do we need to be treating ourselves the same way? Now, I don't want to go into so much fabulous, The fact is that I don't know where APC is really also.
Okay,
but
exactly.
If they continue this way, it's going to be very, very bad for our democracy.
Yes.
I could remember the way they went about denigrating almost all Nigerian institutions in their quest for power. That was the 2015 election. I'm thinking that, look, when they get into government, they will come into play, they will allow civility. But it's unfortunate that in government, they are even confining the situation. But let's see how it goes. But I just want to pray that God Almighty will allow this to end in 2019. We can't continue this way.
All right,
Thank you very much, and have a nice week.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in. The APC is really going through turbulent weather. Sure. On the one hand, this is happening. Then there's the Chief Oyegun is saying that the inauguration of EXCOs will not happen, in certain areas. In Ekiti there the other day, a policeman accidentally shot 6 people. Well, I think one of them was dead. Bamidele is among them. There are problems that all of which have to be resolved if the APC is going to move forward with the kind of clarity of vision that it needs. It would do. Yes.
The latest developments, this Saraki issue now,
yes,
has even complicated the matter more for APC.
Yes.
The new PDP, of which Saraki is a member,
yes,
they have seen this latest development, this invitation, they have seen it as a slight.
And bad faith.
And,
yes,
that,
they say that,
like, you are saying some people are interpreting that the presidency is involved.
Yes, yes, yes.
In fact, they now see it as the president has now slapped them on the face. And therefore, they are back to the trenches against APC. So it's a situation that APC, I don't know how they are going to handle it.
Really, because APC it looks to some that, look, the NPDP is who they are. Nobody is saying, they themselves are proud members of NPDP.
Sure.
But they can't take over the party. And that would appear to be the read that some people are having. That, wait a minute, all these demands and all this matter about I'm being marginalized, it doesn't go down well with too many people within the APC, I understand. But I'm being told that, yes, they wanted to tell me. Mazi Okoroafo, weigh in on the matter.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, our guests in the studio.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sayori, I thank Nigerians for their reaction. You see, that is to show that Sayori, this program you are doing, sure, you are doing your GVC, people should know that they have importance. You see, the reactions of people, both the social media, Facebook, and the rest, at least have made Nigerian police to follow the sequence. It is very welcome idea. Now, my own call is that the Senate President to respond to their letter as they said 48 hours. You see, this is what we call democracy, and this is what we call at least acceptability. You play your own part, I play my own part. The situation whereby when the two elements start fighting, it is the crowd that suffers. You see, we have come to a level that in this country, that when something happens, people should allow what happens to take its course. The normal way, and whatever that wants to happen, let it take the normal. But most of these things, it is not God created, it is man created. Anything created by man should be solved by man, the way man designed it. Not the way when people create problems, they start pushing it to God. When somebody commits a crime or a sin, they say it was the devil. No, we have to call it space. We thank you for Nigerian police for the steps they have taken. And my own call is to the Senate President to respond to their letter. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day. My brother, if you are doing a very nice, have a blessed day in Lagos.
Thank you very much, Mazi. NPDP it's standing its ground, it's wanting its right, it's saying it doesn't want to be marginalized, it says it's negotiating. None of this will be going down very well with the party that will feel violated by their very existence within its structure.
Sure.
You know.
Uncle Yori, I made a statement the other time.
Okay.
You
just
used
took
the
it away
word.
from him, but
sorry, my apologies.
yes.
I just want him to be. I want to emphasize the statement I made that he disagreed with me. And when I used the word primitive,
That we
he
are-
said no,
that
that
we're
we
a
are not
primitive society.
and he
I
disagreed.
said how bad?
And no. The reason why.
Yes, he explained it.
Okay,
But
look,
let's talk-
look
spend
at
too
it
much
now.
time. Yes.
NPDP. What is NPDP and APC in one government? Why are you dividing it?
They will
when
try.
you came, all of you came to us as APC. We embrace the party APC,
Yes.
not NPDP
Now,
and
but you know how
APC.
people like
so
forming unions.
how did we get to
They
this
formed
point?
the union now, and the union is NPDP.
I'll leave the floor to Doctor.
No. You see, like you said, it's in the past maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we started hearing of NPDP again.
Yes, again. They brought it back up.
After the 2015 election and the APC won, nobody heard of NPDP again. In fact, I thought the whole thing has dissolved. But suddenly, in the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks now, we started hearing of NPDP being marginalized. And I started thinking within myself, who are these NPDP members? Saraki is a member, he's a Senate President. Dogara is a member, he's a Speaker of the House.
Yes.
And so on and so forth.
And so forth.
So, in other words, they are holding the parliament.
Yes.
They are holding the parliament. So where does marginalization again come in? How? Well, the point is, NPDP is not a party. It's not recognized.
It's not.
Not to
It's a block. They refer to
It's
it
a
as-
move- it's
they,
a-
they say the NPDP block within the APC. This must be very distasteful to APC.
We didn't know that until now.
Someone who wants to be known as Super K calling in from the UK. Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and morning to your
Good morning,
viewers
sir.
there.
Super K, that's
Uncle Yori,
you.
I want to take exception to disagree with you today.
Okay.
For the very first time I've been listening to you and so dedicated to your program. And I think I will also encourage you to apologize to Nigerians on what you
What are
said,
you talking about?
that
What are you talking about?
Senate President fought himself. The Senate President did not force himself to be the Senate. It was voted for constitutionally.
Okay.
It was voted for. We watch it live, due process, and I think we're not all happy with what is going on. But if we have to blame people, it is the people, the other APC members that were sitting somewhere in breach of the Nigerian Constitution. Because Nigerian Constitution, there should be and constitute that house 10 a.m.
Okay.
And they were somewhere having a tea party. And I think
Super
it's
K.
about time we should hold them and the people that invited them to the conference center that caused all this mess.
Okay.
So, and also they should thank.
But
Senate
moving on,
President
sorry,
for standing
Super
up
K,
as
Super
APC
K,
to
that's a
say,
bit of
"Because
history.
these
But
people are
moving
taking
into
that seat."
today, please, Super K, moving into
Today,
the
sir,
present,
okay, sir. Very shortly.
the present, where the police have done an about face and are now soft peddling. Would you like to comment on that?
I will do that now, sir. Right away. Right away. Yes, it is politics playing out. Yes, please. It is politics playing out. And I think we Nigerians need to rise up to the occasion of building institutions rather than personality. Yes, nobody is above the law in Nigeria, but yes, we know the way our Nigerian police force works, and that is why the people in the executive branch of our government, they don't want to lay hands off the police because they have become a very instrumental tool to use the way they want to use it. Whether we like it or not, perception goes a long way because people will think this is from the president. Oh, it's because they don't like it.
But as you are saying, it's a perception, it's not a fact unless you want to call it so.
Exactly. It is. It is because when it's too much out there, the way the invitation was sent and the vice president had to weigh in was for number 3 of the country to be invited by the police. Did it go through the attorney general? There were due process to be followed.
Okay.
They need to have
I have taken your opinion.
The attorney general to take legal advice.
Okay. Super K, we have taken your opinion. We have registered it. Thank you very much for calling in. Thank you.
Yeah. You see, I was saying that the NPDP dissolved or vanished after the 2015 election. But suddenly,
and there have been instances where Bukola Saraki, Dr. Bukola Saraki, has said that he's a member of the APC and he's not going anywhere. He's not thinking of leaving.
Yes.
That was in the past.
It's in the last 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks we started hearing of NPDP again, and the issue of marginalization came up again. Now, what we are dealing with now, like the last caller mentioned, institutions in this democracy are being violated grossly.
You think?
Yes. Take, for instance, the Senate. For the Senate to invite the IGP and he bluntly refused is violation of that chamber.
I think they invited the control of customs.
They invited the control of customs earlier at the beginning. He bluntly refused. Up to today, he didn't show and no apology. And so on and so forth. It's like that a president has been led. Some very big people no longer, respect these institutions. And it's not going to help this country. Now, if we continue to violate our institutions like this, then there's trouble. Take, for instance, if you are a teacher, you are the teacher of a class.
Yes.
Then suddenly your students, your pupils, they decided to say, this our teacher is a difficult, he's flogging us too much, and they decide to beat you up. They decide to manhandle you openly in the school field. And you will be afraid, if you come to the class to teach them again, the authority will be diminished.
We have a big problem on our hands.
Yes, the authority will be diminished.
Because these people that are being invited, and as you said, they're thumping their nose at the National Assembly, it is their judgment, not that anybody is commenting on their judgment or not, that these are frivolous invitations that need not to be honored. Now, whether also that is the case, we know 2 wrongs don't make a right. But to now, tread the very strict, straight and narrow for whatever thing they think, as the Oyinbo people say, at the drop of a hat, you start inviting people all over the place. I suppose the right thing to do is, no matter what, because the law it is written, they have to be showing up.
There are some institutions, I use the word, a prefix, sacred.
Okay.
There ought to be sacred institutions.
Yes.
And individuals at the same time that hate these institutions.
Yes.
So that if they commit crime, nobody is saying that they should not be dealt with or the law should not take it.
Yes.
But there should be a way they should be summoned. There should be a way the institution should be respected. Knowing that if the Senate, the highest lawmaking body of the country, if it has no integrity, it has no respect, nobody respects the Senate.
Yes.
Then there is trouble in the land. There's no need.
Of course. No,
talking about democracy.
Irrespective of how
You know,
the Senate came to be
yes.
or how the
Yes.
House of Reps
The
came to be.
institution is there, recognized
Irrespective is
by the
the
Constitution.
institution.
Doctor,
How these people now came to occupy their places, we're saying that forget that for
I'm
a
talking
moment.
of the institution now.
Let's look at the institution.
When we talk about the institution, for institution to
They say
stand,
we have only 30 seconds, though.
the allegiance we have to the Constitution must be upheld. It's
I hear you.
because we don't. It's either most of these people, the DG of Custom, the IG, all of them, they still link to the executive and they enjoy those power with them. You know why? The Constitution made provision and the law says the House of Assembly, Mr. President, the House of Assembly, the Senate can invite anybody. The only person they cannot invite is Mr. President.
Exactly.
And it's because the reason why you cannot even invite Mr. President is because you can't issue warrant of arrest to Mr. President. You can't summon him. You can't question Mr. President. That's the only reason why he can't be invited by these people. If IG is not going, it's an offense.
Yes.
It's an offense.
Is an offense. Anyone that does not go for that call is an offense. But what has happened?
Well,
what are we seeing in display?
Well, we've completely,
Where are we?
We've completely run out of time now. What the situation we have is that the police still will get their way. They will be able to conduct the investigation. It's just a matter about the methodology now. Instead of having him in person, they will now have his
Maybe when we have the
in
intellectual,
writing.
the brilliant, intelligent ones among the police force that are doing this job and not people that don't even know what they are doing. And they are the one in M of affairs of the police force.
I guess I'll just leave it like that. Thank you very much, Ola Daniels, political affairs analyst, and Dr. Luke Onyekekea. Thank you very, very much as always. Member editorial board of the Guardian newspaper. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your insights.
You're welcome.
On this
Thank
matter.
you.
Thank you, Uncle Yori.
Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folani. I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye for now.